MLM Nation, episode 77.
But figure out your why. Why have you joined this network marketing business? What are your hopes and dreams? And what is your why? And your why is what's going to drive you through those low points and get you back up on that mountaintop.
If you want to be successful, you just have to copy what MLM leaders do. Welcome to MLM Nation, presented by your host, Simon Chan, where you'll learn strategies, secrets, and inspiring stories from today's top MLM income earners.
MLM Nation, this is Simon Chan, and I am really excited and curious to bring our special guest today, Celeste Gwynn. Celeste, are you ready to make it happen?
I'm ready.
Celeste Gwynn got married in college and immediately started a family after graduation. She never had a job nor a career before she discovered MLM. In fact, her first commission check in network marketing was the first paycheck she's ever received in her life. But even without any work experience, in just 2 years and 3 months, Celeste skyrocketed to the top rank and became one of the highest paid distributors in her company. Celeste credits her success to her genuine love for people. And when people ask her how long it took her to be successful, she doesn't say 2 years, but she says 38 years, because she's been building a network of amazing people over the course of her entire life. So Celeste, I've given MLM Nation just a brief intro, but please share more about your background and how you came across network marketing.
Yeah, network marketing came across me. It's kind of how I like to explain it. I certainly wasn't looking for a career or a job. I joke around. I say I wasn't even looking for a hobby, because I think some people end up joining network marketing and MLMs because they just want something to do for fun. And that was definitely not the case with me. I had used the products for the company that I'm with and had great success. And my best friend just eventually, best friends can do this, so don't judge her. But she basically called me up and told me I was an idiot for not joining her. I'd sent her about 30 customers in the course of 9 months. And she convinced me that the smart thing to do was to join her. So I did. Having, like you said, never had a job or a career. I'm a mom, and I love being a mom, and I feel like that was really fulfilling. But this was definitely my first career, and it just kind of fell in my lap, and I ran with it. And it's just been such a huge blessing, and one of those things that, I feel like God knew what I needed when I didn't want it and didn't know I needed it type thing.
Yeah, and even before we started this show, we were talking, you said that you don't see yourself as a really networker. Because right. You just did what's natural, right?
Absolutely. Yes. I get the question a lot, how do you sell this stuff? And it makes me giggle, because I truly don't feel like I've ever sold anything in the course of the last 2 years and 3 months. I'm a sharer, and that's what I actually say. Well, that could be part of your problem. If you're trying to sell something, people see right through that. If it's your passion and it's something that's driving you, people are attracted to that. But if you're just trying to sell a product, sometimes people are turned off by that.
So I have to ask you about this transition. So you say you got like 30, you basically referred 30 people to your friend, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
Obviously that's actually very genuine sharing. But when you started the business, did you have some challenges? Was there like a mindset shift that, because now you're going to make money on it, that you were approaching people differently? Because I think that's what happens to a lot of distributors. They naturally, we recommend movies and things. But once we, in this business, because we can make money, we all of a sudden become robots and we change ourselves a little bit. Did that happen?
Yeah, I think it feels awkward, especially for someone like me that had never had, I was never making money off of anything that I shared, whether it was, my favorite mascara, like you said, my favorite restaurant or movie, or, my love for Christ. Like, it was all I shared because it was something I was passionate about. So it was definitely a transition of, oh man, are people going to think that I'm just trying to make money off of them? Are they going to see my heart? Are they going to see my passion for what I'm sharing? And are they still going to buy into this? Or is it something that people are going to doubt me now? I had a lot of self-doubt in the beginning. Are people going to doubt me now that I am making money off of it? Absolutely.
So how did you overcome that doubt, these negative self-talk?
It's part of my favorite quote, and it's from Les Brown, and it says, "Don't let someone else's opinion of you become your reality." And it's Les Brown, and I think that when I got over the fact that I was making money, and when I got over the fact that this was network marketing, and I realized that I had to be bold because I knew that I had an opportunity, and I knew that I had products that were going to change people's lives, it helped me to be much, much bolder in sharing, because I realized, like, how selfish of me to keep this to myself. This has changed my life, with the product. Obviously, the financial side of it completely turned our world upside down in an absolutely phenomenal, amazing way. And I just got over myself and realized I had to share and I had to be bold about this. And, just prayerfully hope that people would see my sincerity, and they did.
Now let's go back to your journey during this short time. What would you consider to be your worst moment, to be like maybe the most frustrating, challenging time, and you're like, oh my goodness, what did my friend get me into this? But maybe even the point that you wanted to stop doing it, but somehow you kept going, and you learned a valuable lesson because of that.
Yes. I mean, I'm still so new to this industry, so it's been so beautiful and so rewarding. But definitely one of my biggest challenges in the beginning, and still to this day, is balance. Responding to people. I'm a pleaser by nature, and I want people to like me. I mean, I think that's human nature, and I think it's also women. We want people to like us, and we want to please people. But, I was a mom before, and my kids got all of my time. So in the beginning, I struggled with balance. And if I was doing really, really good at my business, I felt like I was neglecting my family. If I was being a really, really good mama to my kiddos, I felt like I was neglecting my team. And I think probably about 4.5 months in, I had this moment where I just basically, I called my upline and I said, I feel like I suck at everything right now. I said, I'm not a good mom. I'm not a good wife. I'm not being a good leader to my team. And I just feel like maybe I'm just not cut out for this, because all I'd ever done was be a stay-at-home mom. And, at that point I already had a huge team, and she talked me off the ledge. And, at that point I really kind of set some boundaries, in my business. And I started making my afternoons all about my family. Picking up my kiddos from school was homework, dinner time and fun time with my family, and just started setting some boundaries. And I think that when I figured out that balance, it was a good thing. And my business got better, and I felt better about the kind of mom and wife that I was as well. So definitely about 4.5 months in, I just hit a wall where I was like, okay, I'm not doing anything well. And I am a perfectionist, and I want to do everything great. So just figuring out that balance was huge for me.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, because I think that's a really big thing. A lot of distributors, especially part-time, they have challenges with family, because they go through the same thing you go through. They do really good in the business, but then they're not doing well at home, or they're really well at home, and they feel bad for ignoring the business. I think that you gave the best advice, is like boundaries. So when you're with your kids and family, be present with them. I mean,
absolutely,
they can definitely tell, and then you'll feel better. And then when you actually go back, did you find, like, once you maybe take a break from the business, you're 100% with your kiddos, then when you went back, even though you may be working less, but you were more productive?
Right.
Because you're recharged, right?
Absolutely. And my husband told me something. We were at a concert when I was first getting started. It was probably around month 4. And someone asked for information about products. And we're on the front row at this concert. And I start messaging back. And my husband's a very wise man, and who I respect a lot. And he looked at me and he said, Celeste, if they want product today, they're going to want product in the morning. Be in the moment with me right now. What you just said is basically what he was telling me. And I think it's all a balance, and it is. I mean, people respect that too. People in our industry, at least on my team, because I have so many people that this is not their full-time gig. They respect if I tell them, hey, I don't work on Sundays. I'll get back to you on Monday morning. And people really respect that, actually.
Definitely. Especially with, in network marketing, we're talking about lifestyle too, right? So
absolutely.
I mean, you have to walk the walk. I mean, we're not telling you not to do the business, but you got to set a good example for what's possible in this business.
Yeah, I always say, we're preaching this freedom that we have in network marketing. And I tell my team, if I spend 60 hours a week responding to Facebook inbox messages, how am I going to, with a clear conscience, go to someone and say, oh man, you should join what I'm doing. This is awesome. I only work 60 hours a week. So you should leave your 40-hour-a-week gig and come do what I'm doing,
Yes.
So it's definitely a lifestyle. You have to, really figure out, and the fact that we can work from anywhere is definitely a huge lifestyle, a huge blessing. I've gotten to do so much travels in the last 2 years that would have never been attainable before what I do now because of the freedom that I have.
So how do you structure, because obviously you're very good, you have these boundaries, family time, business time. How do you structure a day? What's your schedule like normally, like your routine?
Absolutely. Well, obviously, summers look a little bit different than the school year. My kiddos go back to school on Wednesday, and I am kind of looking forward to that. I don't know if I want to say, I've never been looking forward to it before, but I do like routine. So summers look a little bit different because, the kids are not in routine. But my normal school year of working my business, I work 8 to 2, 9 to 2. And it's funny because I giggle because I think I'm counting in there, my carpool time of working from my phone, my sitting at my kids' theater practice or soccer practice or whatever they're doing. But I work probably about 3 hours a day sitting at my computer Monday through Thursday. And it's very, very, I joke around because we use a lot of social media in our business. And I joke and tell my team, playing on Facebook for 4 hours a day is not working your business. So I have a checklist of wishing people happy birthday, going to my inbox and responding to messages, following up with potentials that showed interest in the product, second follow-up, reaching out to, I do a 5-3-1 where I try to follow up with 5 new people, 3 potentials that would want to work the business, and then I try to train 1 every single day. And I fit that into the nooks and crannies. So I am a schedule person, but I've learned with kids, you have to be flexible.
Definitely. So I like that 5-3-1 is approaching 5 new people, you said?
5 strangers.
5 strangers.
And, reaching out to 3. So following up with 3 that have shown interest in the past.
Yes.
And then training 1 ambassador. And I kind of joke at this point, it usually ends up being 5-3, like 256, because I feel like I talk to ambassadors all day long,
Right.
I do a lot more training now than I used to. I'm spending a lot more trying to create duplication, with my team and kind of training them on what I've done. So
definitely. Well, let's go and if you can share a story in your journey where you had like a major aha moment. This is like kind of when the light bulb went off and then your business just exploded and took off.
Okay, absolutely. Obviously, I told you that I'd used the products for about 9 months before I joined. So I did not have to build belief in the product, right? I have a great testimony for our product and I knew that it worked. But because I had not ever had a job, I don't think I grasped the business opportunity. And I think when I went to Jewel Level, which is, like one of the top ranking ambassadors, and I looked down. And you'd think I would be like, wow, this is amazing. Look where I am. But I looked down and I'm getting chills right now. Like I'm that much of a nerd about this network marketing stuff. I looked down at my team and I saw these moms and dads, and I saw people that wanted to be staying home with their kids and wanted to have a lifestyle for their kids. And, they'd been working 40-hour-a-week jobs. And I saw that some people on my team were able to start quitting their jobs. And I think I just had this aha moment of, okay, this business opportunity is going to change people's lives. And, I think in business and life, we tend to be more private about our finances. And I think that's because we don't want to be prideful. And I think it's a good thing. I think, it's something my parents instilled in me was to not be boastful about what you have and, that things are not important and all this, it's all true. So it made me in the beginning less bold about sharing about the business opportunity. And I think when I realized the lives that were being changed when I hit Jewel Level, that's when I just was all out. I have to tell everyone I know about this business opportunity. Before I was really sharing about the products because I wasn't a network marketer. I believed in the products at that point. But when I really saw my friends' lives just changing, that's when I was like, okay, I've got to share this. I've got to be bold about talking about how it's changing my life financially. It was easy to share about the products. it was less easy to share about the business. But it got so much easier when I saw these lives being changed and friends quitting their jobs. And, really at that point, I just started focusing on training and creating something duplicable for my team, praying that it would stick and that it would trickle down. And as of like this morning, I have close to 50,000 active ambassadors on my team. So clearly, something worked. But I do think that when it clicked was when I realized the business opportunity. And I know so many people in network marketing are probably like, well, yeah, but I wasn't. So for me, it was an aha moment. It really was.
Definitely. Now, let's share another story. Maybe it's related to the lives that you've changed. What would you consider to be your proudest moment in network marketing?
So my proudest moment was probably re-entry. I became the top ambassador in my company. And the funny thing was, I'm on stage and I'm getting this Cartier watch and, it's really awesome. And, it sounds like this is all about me. But, in the course of my speech, I had my team stand up. And when they stood up, my knees buckled and I almost hit the ground because I think it was like this tangible, something I could sink my teeth into of how many lives are being changed because of this industry, because I got over my pride and I took that leap of faith to see, the hundreds of thousands of lives that are being changed. And of course, there weren't hundreds of thousands of people in the room, but it was a gross representation when they stood up of the lives being changed. And I lost it. So that was definitely probably my proudest moment.
That was very, very cool. So you had your entire team stand up during your speech.
Yes.
Wow, that is really
cool. It was overwhelming because we made up about, I think, probably 3/4 of the room. And I didn't expect that. It really did. It blew my mind.
Wow. What's the one thing that excites you most about the network marketing profession now?
Just the opportunity. I love this industry. I think everyone should be in this industry. But, because of my demographic, being a mom, I think that stay-at-home moms should be in this industry. I can't imagine a better gig of being able to fit something income producing into the nooks and crannies of your life, while still being a full-time mom. My kids will tell you, I'm plugged in, you can do this and be uber successful and still be at everything for your children. You have to miss a couple things, but to just be able to do this, still be a full-time mom and absolutely take some pressure off of our spouses. It's huge. I think the opportunity is insane. And, it's just such a huge blessing to watch more and more people establish financial freedom through this industry. I love supporting my friends in this industry, not just with what I do, but any product that I can buy from someone who's in network marketing, I do it.
Yeah, that's exactly like me. Anything, if I'm using something and a network marketing company makes it, I always support, because we're in such an awesome profession.
Yeah.
How many kids do you have, Celeste?
I've got 2.
2 kids. And how old are they?
They're 12 and 13, so they're in middle school.
Yeah, so they're a handful.
They're a handful, yeah.
But you're still awesome. Making it happen.
They're amazing kids, but they definitely, they're in sports and activities, and, they keep me on my toes.
That's really cool. Now, you had said that it took you 38 years to be successful because you've been building relationships. You've been networking and helping. Can you give some tips to people? Because I think people who come into the profession, right, when you get started, they either have a lot of success or no success. And I think whether you're successful or not really is a reflection of how you've treated people, what type of value you've created. Right, so if you're obviously you're a giver. So when you came in, even before you came in, you got like 30 referrals, right?
Yeah.
So, but if someone's always been very selfish, like being focused on themselves, they come in and all of a sudden they want to get people to do things or try something out. No one trusts them. So, what are some tips you give people? Like people listening, maybe they're struggling, like they ran out of a contact list, or they need to. What are some tips on how to provide value and build up like a new contact list for them?
Yeah, we talk a lot about spreading our nets wider, and how important that is, even for me at this point. One thing that I think is a little bit of a challenge is it is a challenge to start building a network at 38, but I think it can be done. And I think it comes from a place of sincerity and maybe figuring out how to put your product or business on the back burner while pouring into building relationships. I always say, don't ever be, that person that you walk into a room and you make a beeline for someone and tell them why they need your product or service, but just be a sincere person who is pouring into people, and people are going to be attracted to that. I oftentimes, what I do doesn't even come up in that first touch, in that first contact with someone new. I'm just looking to truly make that connection. And, I don't even know that you can train that, because you either love people or, maybe you don't. But if you do love people, it's easy to just love on people and build that network. And then your passion for what you do is going to come through. It's a very natural progression when you're getting to know someone. Hey, what's your name? How many kids do you have? Where are you from? What's the next thing? Just the cliche next question. What do you do for a living? So you don't have to be just like in their face, I'm Celeste Gwynn and this is my career. You can, I'm Celeste Gwynn, mommy of Maddie and Nathan, wife of Andrew, lover of Jesus. And I've got a passion for network marketing, and this is what I do. It's a natural progression instead of just rolling in hot and heavy with your opportunity and your business. Does that make sense? I mean,
yeah,
it's just
definitely
a natural progression of, I don't know that I totally answered your question, but I think it's just pouring into people and being sincere and building relationships to build trust.
Yeah, I'm not even thinking about the business, because I think once we start thinking, when I'm going to transition and talk about the business or bring it up, then you become like awkward, right?
Absolutely. I've watched it happen so many times, and it just it makes me cringe.
yeah. No, before earlier the show, you talked about birthdays. You said
yes.
you do birthday greetings, or what do you do for people's birthdays?
So I on Facebook, with social media, because I've built a lot on social media. That being said, I also obviously love people, so I'm doing a lot of face-to-face contact. So it's a misnomer to think that you can completely build your business just using social media. You've got to get in front of people. But to stay engaged with people, I wish everyone a happy birthday. It keeps you engaged on their wall. And with the algorithms of Facebook, if you're engaging them and then they go and say thank you, then you're going to start showing back up in their news feed. So it's just something that I do as I'm wishing them a happy birthday, say a little prayer for them, and then I'm re-engaged with them on social media.
Yeah, something so simple, so easy to do, but a lot of people, like Jim Rohn has said, the easy things are the things that you don't do. But so small, simple things like that provide value, and that's how Celeste is keeping in touch with people like that. It is showing up the feed. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
As we wrap up towards the end of the show, some really quick questions to pick your brain, Celeste.
Sure.
What's one of your favorite success quotes that's motivated you?
Well, I talked about Les Brown, and it was, don't let someone else's opinion of you become your reality. And I have that plastered like all over my house, in all my kids' rooms, in their mirror, on their mirror, on my mirror. And I think that that's just super important to really realize, you've got to be bold. You've got to love yourself. You've got to be confident. And, something that I tell my kids that I think falls in line with that is, that God doesn't make mistakes. So he made you perfect. And don't let somebody else's view of you pull you down. And I was worried about what my peer group and my sphere of influence was going to think about me. Why is Celeste Gwynn doing this? Like, why would she do this? Like, my dad's a missionary and we're involved in politics and this and that and the other. And I definitely was letting, that mindset of what are people going to think about me doing this, hold me back.
I love what you said. God is perfect. He doesn't make mistakes. So he made you perfect. But it's all this other stuff, programming or listening to the wrong people or the media that's really kind of messes us up. So
absolutely,
I like that. What is one habit that's helped you become successful?
One habit is just, I think, follow up, persistence. I tell my team, they'll say, well, I told someone and, they said they were interested. Okay, well, when's the last time you saw one commercial for something and then went and bought it? No, it's like you've got to keep constantly dripping on someone to really get them interested. I think it's 7 or 8 touches is usually what it takes for someone to buy into what you're doing. And so I think we think that we know they need our product or our opportunity more than they know at that moment. And they mean well, but when you follow up, and obviously don't do it in a stalking, annoying kind of a way, but when you run into people and as it feels natural, follow up with them. And I think that that's the key to really building, is knowing what you have and knowing that it's so of value that it's worth reaching out to someone again and again and again. And I have so many people on my team now that, they're leaders. I mean, they're like high ranking leaders now, and they joke around. It depends on your personality too, but I'm a little bit on the bossy side. So they joke around that, they're just so glad that I called them over and over and told them what they were going to do, because they were my friends and, and I could do that. And now they're like, I'm just so glad that Celeste believed in me. My best friend says Celeste believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. And I could say the same thing about the Jen Hawkins, who signed me up, that she saw in me that I was an influencer. I wouldn't have called myself that, but she saw that I had a sphere of influence. And even though I told her I probably wasn't going to work the business, she knew that I had a sphere of influence and that I was vocal and that I was going to tell people that I loved what I was doing, So follow up is definitely important.
What's your favorite prospecting tool you use? For example, if someone was interested in the business, do you sit down with them? Do you give them a magazine? Do you use a newsletter? Do you sample the products? Do you send them a link to a video or webinar? What do you like to use?
So I'm definitely a face-to-face, let's meet for coffee or lunch kind of girl. I think that messaging and emails and stuff like that, I don't think people can really feel your passion like they can when they hear your voice. I'm a little bit hoarse right now. I don't always sound like this. Usually I have a little bit more inflection in my voice so you can tell when I'm excited. But I do like face-to-face. I've been really blessed that I was featured in our Success from Home magazine. So I use that a lot because our company did that magazine 1 month and I was featured in that. So that's been something that I've had great success with. With giving samples, I give different advice on that. I think sometimes people are not apt to commit unless they have skin in the game. Sometimes they will, but sometimes I will charge for a sample, or I will send them a video about my company and say, hey, watch this video, message me 3 things that you learned from it, and I will then send you a 3-day trial of our products.
Ooh, I like that. Really good. So you actually, even though they don't pay money, but they have to pay their time.
The time.
To watch it, yes. And it gives us so much more value. Because when you give things away for free, people don't treat it with value, right?
Right. A lot of times I feel like it goes in their mail pile and they may mean well, or, it gets, falls in the middle of the console of their car and they forget about it, but, time is valuable to people. And if they spend 10 minutes watching a video and messaging me back, I've had great success with that. They're more likely to use the product for a few days and then get back to me. And I check in. I'm a follow up, like day 1, day 2, and day 3, and see what they think. So
that's really good. I like, and also filters out who is a good prospect, who is not. So you're not wasting time with people.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very good. Now, do you have a favorite app or online resource that you use? Do you use like an Evernote or a Dropbox, or you have an app on your phone that you could recommend to our listeners?
I am not a techie girl. I wish I was. It's something I'm really working on, getting out of my comfort zone. This is out of my comfort zone. Even being, on Skype with you is out of my comfort zone. So I'm not super techie. Something that I am using probably in the last 2 months that my team and I am absolutely loving is I'm doing a lot of periscoping, which is a live news feed or a live video feed where you can they're looking at you and they can ask you questions on the screen. And I'm doing a lot of Q&As, and you can do private periscopes too, where you can just invite your team and they can ask you questions. And it deletes after 24 hours. So it gives you the option to save it to your camera roll. And then if it's like amazing, you could post it to YouTube and then, to your team page or your blog or whatever. But what I really, really love about Periscope is the way that it deletes it after 24 hours. It creates a sense of urgency. And so people can't go, okay, well, I'm going to watch that Celeste Gwen training later, because it's not going to be there later. So I'm getting a lot of people that are quitting what they're doing and they're making it a priority to hop on my trainings because they know, man, this is here and now. I've only got 24 hours to watch this, Another thing that I really love about it is I'm using it kind of for branding myself, to give people a glimpse into my life and my lifestyle. And I think it's been really, really encouraging for people just to see how normal I am. I'll be in the middle of a Periscope and this happened last week. My daughter walks in and wants to know if a friend can spend the night, in the middle of this Periscope. And as much as I'm like, well, there goes my professionalism. I think it's also great, for people to see, okay, she's, the top ranking ambassador of our company and her kids bust into her office too. It is what it is, So I think it's giving people kind of a glimpse into my life, and it's motivating for them to see that I really am just a normal stay-at-home mom that's just been passionate about what I'm doing. Yeah. Definitely. So that's about as techie as I get. I mean, I'm in all social media, I use all of that to build my business, but that's about it.
What's one book you could recommend to MLM Nation?
I love John Maxwell, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. But and that's something that I've done with my team. But from a personal perspective, something that's just absolutely blown my business out of the water. It's a book called The Circle Maker by Mark Batterson. And it's just really changed the way I pray for my team and the way that I build, and just realizing, how there are no stupid prayers and how God will answer them all. And it's been huge for exploding my business. Obviously, that's a huge part of my success.
And ML Nation, I know you love audio because you listen to this podcast. So if you haven't already, you can get an amazing free audiobook at MLMNationBook.com. That is MLMNationBook.com. So Celeste, here's the last question, the $1 million question. You ready?
I'm ready.
Before we go to the $1 million question, ML Nation, I know you want to grow your business. And I know you want to earn more income. So that's why I want to share with you something that will instantly help your business and increase your income. You already know the importance of sponsoring. And if you can't sponsor, the fact is you simply won't earn any real income in network marketing. Sponsoring is so important. And that's why I'm inviting you to a free training that will change your business forever. I want you to check out my free sponsoring workshop webinar, where you're going to learn how to invite more prospects, overcome the objections, and sponsor more distributors. You can register for this free training at www.sponsoringworkshop.com. Again, that's sponsoringworkshop.com. If you like these podcasts from MLM Nation and these trainings, you'll find this free webinar even more helpful. This is the training that helped me earn over $1 million in MLM and giving me the residual income so I can be a stay-at-home dad with my kids. And also have the time to give back and produce these MLM Nation podcast episodes for you. This is the training, the skills that help me become successful in network marketing, and you're going to learn this at this free sponsoring workshop webinar. So here's some of the things you'll learn and get. You're going to get the first step you must take before you even talk to your contact list. You're going to discover the 3 types of prospects and how you must talk to them differently. Because not all prospects are the same, they're different. You also get my proven cold market scripts that'll help you convert strangers into prospects. These are the things that help me. I didn't sponsor 200 people in a year, but I sponsored over 80-something people in 1 year. How would your business grow if you sponsored 80 people in a year? You also learn how to get prospects to overcome the objections. So listen to your presentations. An MLM objection, how to, I don't have any money. So you're going to learn all those things. And also, the best part is you get my famous 6-figure close. So you can sign up prospects. And this is the same script, why it's a 6-figure close, because I used it to sign up one of my party friends. This guy was a party animal, and I used that 6-figure close, and he joined, and now he's a diamond director and earns me a 6-figure passive income just from one person. And so you'll get the same 6-figure close on this free webinar. So anyway, enough of what you learned. What you really need to do now is register right now or write this website down. It's at www.sponsoringworkshop.com. Okay, sponsoringworkshop.com. This free webinar is offered 3 different days. That's the cool part. This 3 different days at 4 different times. So that anyone around the world, because I know MLM Nation, you guys are global, you can listen to it. And even better, if you don't have the patience, you want it immediately, there's an option. If you go to sponsoringworkshop.com, there's an option to watch it now immediately. So you can watch it right now and learn. So start learning the skills that help me build $1 million MLM business and go to sponsoringworkshop.com. So look forward to seeing the training. So now you know about something that's going to help you. I have to share that with you. Let's go back to the show and to the $1 million question. Here's the $1 million question. Imagine you had to start all over again, but you knew no one. So all those great relationships that took 38 years to build, you had 0. Okay, you didn't know any family, didn't have your kiddos, nobody. But you had all your current knowledge, skills, and wisdom. what's the first thing you would do to find prospects and build an MLM business from scratch?
Yes, I would definitely put myself out there, get out from behind my computer, get out of your comfort zone and go and join clubs. Go and, go to room mom meetings, join a Bible study, become part of your chamber of commerce. Like, put yourself out there where you can widen your nets and just really start engaging people and just start building relationships. Love on people. Something that I think is really important that we forget to do, and it sounds, really elementary, but I always tell my kids that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Therefore, we should listen twice as much as we speak. And I think that often we think when we're engaging people that, oh, this may be the only chance I get, so I've got to share. When really, to build that trust, you have to listen. So just putting yourself out there and listening to people and pouring into building those relationships sincerely, but definitely getting out from behind your computer and going out and hitting the pavement and meeting people. I think that's the hardest part. And, it's hard for me too. But what I tell my team is, starting with that 5-3-1, like we talked about earlier, give out 5 business cards. If you have a heart attack at the end of the day, don't do it again. But if you make it through the day and you made 5 contacts and nobody, hates your guts and you still are breathing, then do it again the next day. And it's going to get easier and easier and easier every day.
Fantastic. As we wrap up, any last words or advice? And then what's the best way our listeners can connect with you?
Absolutely. My words of advice would be, don't give up when you have challenges. There's going to be highs and lows, and without the lows, you really can't appreciate the highs. And no matter what industry you're in, there's going to be highs and lows in your business, and there's going to be trouble, that comes along. But figure out your why. Why have you joined this network marketing business? What are your hopes and dreams, and what is your why? And your why is what's going to drive you through those low points and get you back up on that mountaintop. And just, don't give up and listen, if I can be successful in this industry, got married at, 21, started having babies at 22. I've never had a career. I was dumb enough to be, a customer for 9 months and not catch the vision. So if I can be successful at this as a stay-at-home mama, anyone can do this. Just figure out your why, and that's what's going to drive you. As far as how to connect with me, I have a business page on Facebook. It's Celeste Neville Gwynn. I have a personal page that you can follow if you just kind of want to see my lifestyle and obviously, pictures of my beautiful kids because, I post a lot about them. And then I told you I'm on Periscope and Twitter, and I'm also Celeste Neville Gwynn. It's NEVIL GWYNN. And on Instagram and LinkedIn, just Celeste Gwynn, CELESTE GWYNN. And I love connecting. I love this industry. I just love pouring into people and building relationships. So I look forward to some connections.
MLM Nation, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And today, you've been hanging out with Celeste Gwynn. So keep up the momentum and go to MLMNation.net and type in Celeste, that is CELESTE, at the search bar, and the show notes will pop right up. In order to be successful in network marketing, you must help others. So Celeste, thanks again for sharing your valuable time with MLM Nation. We're grateful to you, and we appreciate you for having a positive impact on millions of distributors worldwide. Celeste, thank you so much again, and God bless you.
Thanks for having me.
MLM Nation, what an inspiring story from a godly woman, from a stay-at-home mom who never even had a job. Never had a job. If you have a prospect like that, Celeste just shared that everyone who's a stay-at-home mom should do network marketing, because what an awesome way to. And I think sometimes stay-at-home moms, they feel that, they're too busy with the kids, but this business is built on the nicks and crannies of the day. I think Christina Cheng shared that earlier in the year. I think her episode's number 18, that she shared that, everyone can do this business, just being better with time management. And I also love the fact, if you're listening to this, you're most likely part-time a distributor, you're looking to make it happen, and you may be torn sometimes, like you're not spending time with your family. This is one of the best advice my mentor gave me. It was the exact same thing that Celeste gave me, was, hey, family time is family time, business is business time, right? When you're with your kids, be 100% present. And meaning that be really present in the moment. Or like Celeste shared a story, they were front row seats at a concert and she's texting back someone who needed, info about the products. You know what? Just focus on that concert, focus on her husband, right? And then afterwards you recharge, you actually end up working better. And so that is just really good tips. And when I find nicks and crannies of the day, what I mean by that is like, if you picking up your son, you're 5 minutes early, 10 minutes early, you can go out there and make 1 or 2 phone calls, right? While you're waiting there. When you're in between the soccer practice, all these things, we actually, if you pick out the time in a day, you learn to use it more productively. There's a lot of openings where you can make 1 call, 1 follow-up. And Celeste talked about the 5-3-1, which is really good. Every day, approach 5 new people. 5 new people, 3 follow-ups, right? That stands for, and 1 is 1 training 1 distributor. Another tip is from about the, I'm looking at this whole note, so many things here, is the sampling. This is all so good. This is probably genius. Like, how many of you actually gave a sample and no one took it? And then just like the product just wastes away, rots away, right? And it could be your best product. And sometimes you invested good money for that product. But she actually makes someone do a little thing. And this is so true when people do not value things that are free. So, but when you, and by the way, free doesn't necessarily giving money. Time is also money, right? Time, you know the term, time is money. Why is Facebook worth billions of dollars? Because you spend how much time a day on Facebook? You're really literally giving money to Facebook, right? Now, of course, there's good and bad. You can use Facebook for prospecting, but we also know that you can be wasting too much time and actually wasting money on Facebook, right? There's a balance point there, but time is money. So anything that takes attention is basically money because it requires time. So if you're giving her a product, she's so smart. She actually gives people a video, maybe a short 5-10 minute video to watch, and then email her 3 things that they learned from it. And then, only then, will she give that sample. And basically, that's not only the few people more committed because they actually paid something, like they paid with their time, they'll use the product, but also it tells her who's a good prospect or not, right? How many times have you given samples and then the person doesn't recall you back, or you just basically wasted time presenting to someone? This actually really filters. And prospect, again, it's all about sorting, not convincing. It's presenting to more people who are serious and not people who are not serious. And then the last thing I just wrote down, like a big aha moment, was it's about your pride, right? Like we have so much pride sometimes. Oh, this business, I'm too good for this. Or maybe was that person if I talk to that person, he's going to laugh at me, or they're going to think differently of me. Hey, those are just people's opinions. That's your pride. Who cares? If you really believe, right? In MLM Nation, I know you believe that we are in the best profession, because otherwise you wouldn't be listening to this, right? If you believe in your products, if you believe in this profession, it is your duty to share it with everyone in the world. Otherwise, you are being selfish, right? I mean, we're on episode 77. You heard of 77 people whose lives have changed. And I'm sure you know people in your company whose lives have changed. You read other stories. So if this is so good, if this profession is so good, if your products are so good, and I know you have life-changing products, your company, if they are so good, how come you're not sharing? It comes back to you. You are being self-centered. And for Celeste, that was a big break, aha moment when she stopped. Hey, this is just me. Stop being so self-centered. Stop being so selfish. Instead of being more of a giver, then everything started happening. And one last thing is, this episode was so good. So make sure you go to, MLMNation.net, type in Celeste, Celest, or Gwynn, GWYNN, and then the show notes will pop on. Make sure you connect with her on social media. She's very active. She gave you all her accounts. So go out there, connect with her. And last tip, there's one more tip. It's so good, is that be a person of providing value. I think when you get started in this business, you're either rewarded or punished for what you have done in the past. And I'm not necessarily saying about crimes, but what type of value. Are you a contributor to the society, or you're a taker? If you contribute, give, always care about others, helping people like Celeste, givers, helping, when you approach the business, people will trust you and come in. If you have difficulty in getting people to sign up in the beginning, and right now, if you're in trouble with warm market, because you have been a taker in the past, maybe it doesn't sound good, don't get offended, but it's true. If you haven't been giving enough, and that's why when you go back to them, they're they don't trust you or they're skeptical about it, right? So you have to be a giver. And that's what she said. Her success really wasn't only 2 years. It was like 38 years. For 38 years of her life, she's always been giver, helping other people and never expecting anything back. So finding when she does some of business and it's a great product, great company, people come and trust her. So always be a person of value, contributing value, and by value, it doesn't necessarily mean to give money. You can make people laugh. You can care about people. You can send birthday greetings like Celeste does. Just make people feel good. All right, MLM Nation, that was a super episode, and it's time, you learned a lot of nuggets. Time for you to take what you learned and put it into action. Right? Action speaks louder than words. And also, make sure you subscribe to and review on iTunes. Or if you don't use Apple, use Stitcher. Make sure you give a review. Those are really, really helpful. And then the best compliment, if you found this helpful, share this. If you ever share with not just your downlines, crosslines, your uplines, but share with prospects. This is an awesome call for prospecting. If you have a stay-at-home mom who's looking for something to do, what an awesome story to share. This is so motivating. So someone who never even had one paycheck, never even worked her entire life, was basically just a stay-at-home mom, could be successful in network marketing just by being sincerely caring and sharing with others. Whew! So that's it, MLM Nation. I'm fired up. I'm excited. I'm proud to be in this part of profession, just seeing lives have changed. So go out there, and I thank you for listening, for being a part of MLM Nation, for sharing, for commenting, for subscribing, reviewing, for taking what you learn and putting it into action. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of an amazing profession. And remember, we're in the profession to help others. So go out there and have a positive impact on someone's life today. God bless you all.
Thank you so much for joining us today on MLM Nation. Head over to MLMNation.net for full recaps of every show, our training articles, and helpful resources. Your MLM success